But X-Ray got the walkover. Aristri looking to go up against most likely Hero Marine, as Big Gabe is the #2 seed of the tournament. But here we go. We're getting into our next game, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Hardlead, we have our Polish Protoss player, the Red Protoss representing Team Liquid. It is MaNa. And spawning in the top left, we have his opponent. We have the blue Zerg player representing his new team, the Platinum Esports. It is Eva. Here we go. The ZvPs continue, but they only get harder here for MaNa. We'll see if we can pop up. As we get into this, a big shout out to Dave Testa. Papi, thank you so much, Papi. Thank you so much for gifting a sub to Cyberjohn in the chat. Gracias, Papi, gracias. Do appreciate the support. Do appreciate the love. Gracias, Papi. Este Dave. Thank you so much for the gifted sub. Thank you for the support. Thank you. Big shout out to Dave Testa. Dave Testa, of course, is a fellow English caster in the scene. He does, I believe, Dave should be casting the ESL Open Cup Americas. He should be there. And of course, Dave is one of the big names behind the KSL, behind the Korean StarCraft League. So without Dave, the KSL most likely would not be a thing. So thank you for all that you do, Dave. Thank you. Do appreciate it. Always, Papi, always. As we have a gate expand into Cybercore standard opener here out of MaNa. Across the map, Eba forcing the unnatural natural. Again, Eba recently joining Platinum Esports. Platinum Esports is a bit of a branch off from the Platinum Heroes. I believe they have close ties, and they have kind of split their team up into two. So Platinum Esports is one to look out for, definitely. One to look out for. As MaNa is getting into his opener, we have our take of choice. It is going to be a Stargate opener. We do delay our Warp Gate, and I'm sure Eba is aware of that as well upon seeing the Cybercore not researching, so he's fully aware that it's most likely a Stargate opener from MaNa. As the Stargate is on the way, Probe gets shut down, third base is being taken, Eba getting into his game. MaNa opening up Stargate. Does open up Stargate here. Again, for the time being, we're just building up. With the Stargate, it should be an Oracle-based opener. I say that it is Rally to the Overlord. Are we going Void Ray? There it is. Void Ray is on the way. I noticed that there wasn't a Stalker, so I'm like, we're not getting high ground vision. Void Ray opener out of MaNa. Very cheeky move. Okay, so the way this dynamic works. The way the Void Ray works is that we shut down the Overlord, we deny any kind of scouting, and MaNa can hide his follow-up. His follow-up could be standard play, or it could be something more aggressive and more unorthodox. Something like double Stargate into Skytoss, like a Carrier Rush or a Tempest Rush. We could go into double Stargate Phoenix, we could go into a Twilight Council into Glaive Adepts, we could go for a Charge all-in. There's a lot available here to MaNa, and Eba will have no idea. Well, it'll be difficult for Eba to piece it together, and he has to play safe. Void Ray shuts down the Overlord. We are going for a Forge first. Interesting. This should be followed by the Twilight Council. There we go. Forge into Twilight Council. This should be for +1 and Blink. There is, of course, +1 and Charge also available for MaNa, but honestly, this tech isn't too crazy. Like, this looks like a pretty standard follow-up. Outside of the fact of how fast it is, I should emphasize as well, there we go. We delayed the Oracle production. We delayed our second Stargate unit in favor of the Forge and in favor of the Twilight Council. So much faster timing here. This leads me to believe that this may be Charge, actually. I'm curious. Border moves out. Eba happily droning, throwing down his Roach Warren at a pretty early timing, 4:30. I say early. It's a safe timing for the Roach Warren. It's earlier than normal just because we don't know what the follow-up is. And yep, it's Charge. There you go. It is going to be +1 in Charge here from MaNa. Eba, with his safety Roach Warren, will have an army to contend with this. Lings, they do harass across the map. They get eyes on the third base. And it looks like we might be able to kill the Adept. Yeah, we do get on top of the Adept. It does get shut down. So he will be pulling back. Behind this, okay. And I assumed it was going to be a safe opener here, but we have Overlord Speed on the way. Okay, we do have the Lair as well. Again, just trying to get some scanning information. A Gateway Explosion is upon us. And how many gateways do we have? 6 in total. 6 gateways, charge, and +1. But I was going to give a shout out to D-Money. Papi. Thank you so much, D-Money, in the chat for resubscribing with Twitch Prime. Oh my god, Papi. Thank you so much for the support. Quack. Quack, Papi. Thank you so much. Do appreciate it. Hope you enjoy the content. I hope you enjoy the casting. And thank you for the Twitch Prime. We do our best to cast as often as we can, as much as we can. We do our best. Behind this, charge and +1 is done. We are amassing a lot of Zealots, by the way, and we will soon be hitting a timing with +1. Oh boy. This is going to hit like a truck. And Eba, is he going to be ready for this? Behind this, he's been droning up to 60. Droning up to just under 60 workers. 4th base is being taken. Roaches are amassing again. Very important that we did make these safety roaches. Zealots have arrived, and Eba does have an army. Yeah, he will force this back. Does force back the forces of MaNa. Behind this, Blink is on the horizon. Really fast +2. 4th base is being taken. Fourth base is on the way, and MaNa still being very active with these Zealots. Hasn't thrown them away yet. Rotating over. Getting the revelation. Going for the hatchery. Oh! Thinks about it. Again, does want to throw those Zealots away. He's just trying to outmaneuver Eba. But Eba, he keeps up. Does keep up. Tumors are going to be going down. But we do miss the active tumor. So Eba, he will retain vision here. And he holds. Whew. Eba does hold. He swats away the army. Behind this, we have a Spire on the way for Eba. Getting into the Spire, getting into more droning, saturating the 4th base finally. Is going to be saturated. And Eba, he's going to make use of these roaches. He's pushing out. That's quite an army, though. Eba, he has to be careful. Moving in with 27 roaches. Yeah, he runs into the army. Eba poking in. He wants those Zealots. Does pick up a fair amount of them. Before retreating, we do back up. Spire, again, is on the way. You can see Eba, he's banking up gas, banking up minerals. Ready for the mass muta switch. He's going for it, Papi. He's going for it. MaNa is going to be pushing. He's going to be applying some pressure here. Again, he's still taking up behind this, but +2 is about to finish for MaNa. They're getting himself with some of these roaches, but Eba, he pounces on the army. Stay Strap going off only on a handful of Lings. Eba taking the better fight, taking the slightly better trade. And do we have mutas? Not yet, actually. Ooh, we force a cancel on the base. Good Zealot run by. There we go. Finally, mutas are on the horizon. Only 6 for the time being. We can afford more, but we're not going for it. There we go. 9 mutas on the way. The mutas, they're coming. They are amassing. And MaNa still doesn't know. That's the scary thing. MaNa has no idea. Despite all these oracles, he's been focusing on aggression, focusing on pushing, not on scouting. MaNa doesn't see what comes next. Cleans up the Lings, breaks on through in towards the center. Muta's been spotted. Big scout. Muta was spotted. Good blinks here out of MaNa. They're breaking through the defensive line. Eba in some trouble. Again, +2 is huge here for MaNa. The drones, they go ham. Sorry, the drones are going down. The oracles go ham. And we're picking up so many roaches. Mutas, they make their way into the main base. They are getting damage done. Eba, he's barely holding on, but he lost 13 drones. And MaNa has an insane worker lead. There we go. We forced a recall. MaNa just now losing probes. Did recall back home. Oh, and the mutas, they take quite some losses. 2 mutas go down. Now, MaNa did lose a big chunk of his army, but yeah, we're just warping in. Big wave of stalkers. MaNa, he's got 80 probes. His economy is insane, by the way. He has a solid economy. His army is still very gateway-based. But as long as those mutas don't get out of control, we should be okay. MaNa pushing in. Eva trying to go for a run by, isn't quite able to. And this hatchery is going to be going down. Eva going to try and save it. He's coming in. The hatchery gets sniped. Clean micro there out of MaNa. Good stasis trap as well. Essentially a force field. At the same time, a big Zealot warp into the main base. Drones are going down. Eva, he's getting picked apart. This is becoming a little bit too much. He does collapse on top of some of these stalkers. Banelings are rolling in. Up. Oh, they don't quite make it into the mineral line. Good positioning out of MaNa. The Zealots finally get cleaned up. They kill another 7 drones. And Eva's all in. Eva is all in at this point. Barely has an economy. He's stuck on four bases. Stuck on 4 hatcheries. And MaNa, oh boy, is getting a bit out of hand. Is getting a bit out of control. Now the quality of his army, like the composition is lacking, and that's now what we're working on. Temple Archives is done. Twilight Council, of course, has been done for a while, but the Temple Archives does allow for those Archons. That is a kill. A kill on Nexus. Ooh. Pylon barely does go down. As we lose a couple more meters. But Eva, he's not taking this lying down. Like, he is getting some damage done here. And he has an army to work with. So we have Storm. No Storm available. Limited splash damage. But Immortals are on the way. And the addition of these Archons, it is going to help quite a bit. Okay, Eva, we have to send it here and now. Rocks are being knocked down. Can we dive on top of these Stalkers? Storm just started. It's not done yet. Until it finishes, we could take a fight, but that's a lot of cannons. That's a lot of shield batteries. Eva still on 3-base saturation. Still on 64 drones. You just try to come in. You can see MaNa rotating around. Rotating over. Here we go. Eva pushes in, but the Sim City's looking pretty good. Oh my god, the pylons and shield batteries. Yeah, we have a wall of buildings we cannot get past. Zealot run by once again comes in. We can't lose this base. We can't afford it. Baneling run by does get 10 workers, and we save the hatchery. The hatchery is barely saved. Likewise, Eva rotating around. Storm zoning away some of the Ling Bane. Yeah, connecting with those Lings. Eva trying to collapse on this. The Storms are looking good, but the Ling Bane still breaks through. Takes down the shield batteries, takes down some of the cannons. The shield batteries are going down, but Eva, he's running out of steam. He's running out of army. Now that the Ling Bane is gone. Oh my god, that was so close. Now that the Ling Bane is gone, the Roaches are so vulnerable. Yeah, and MaNa is snowballing out of control, going for a big counterattack. GG gets called, and MaNa will take game number 1. GG. Big game, a big win there for MaNa. Very nicely done, and Eva had his moments. He was able to keep the Spire hidden, is what I will say. If you remember, the Spire was hidden, but we delayed muted production, and the muters themselves were eventually revealed. Again, it was a little bit lackluster there. Just a little bit. And with that, MaNa able to snowball out of control, able to deal quite a bit of damage. Quite an aggressive follow-up as well, with those Zealots into the +2 Blink Stalker timing. The initial +1 timing was defended, but the +2 Stalkers, they did break through. They did get out of hand. And they forced Eva to delay his muters, just because he had to produce Roaches and Lings. Otherwise, he would die. And damage was still dealt anyway. Again, really impressive control there by MaNa with his Blink Stalkers. And now we're getting into game number 2. Gonna be on Solaris. Let's go. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Solaris, we have our Polish Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Team Liquid. It is MaNa. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Zerg player representing Platinum Esports. It is Eva. Throwing down the spray and going for the 15-15. 15 hatchery into the 15 spawning pool. Very safe opener out of Eba. This time he will get his base up and running on location where he wants it to be. Let's go. Let us go. Thank you, Life, for always casting ESL Korea. No problem, no problem. We do what we can. We do our best. Do our best. Even when we're in Europa, we cast ESL Asia. ESL Korea. Honestly, it's not at a bad time slot for Europe. It's at like 10 a.m. 10 a.m. in the morning. Sometimes I'm a little bit groggy and I'm not fully, like, my brain isn't fully awake for it. But we get there over the course of the cast. We get there. But yeah, ESL Korea or ESL Asia was earlier today, for those that are curious. Earlier, a number of hours ago. And now we're here with Europe. Unfortunately, I won't be able to cast ESL Americas live, unfortunately. But a shout out to Maples. I see Maples in the chat. Who did compete last week, and we casted the replays, and Maples went up against Uthermal, and we had a clown fiesta of the series. It was nonsense, papi. Este Uthermal. He was an animal. Uthermal was off racing a Zerg, for those that are curious. I don't quite know the level of his Zerg, but I'm shaking my head. Regardless, we're getting into our PvZ. Again, MaNa once again going for a gate expand into the Cyber Core. We mentioned earlier that Eba did go for a safer opener. Again, does lead into later gases, later link speed, later aggression from Eba. Safer overall. This does mean that MaNa has a little bit more freedom. Once again, a Stargate opener, but just because it's a Stargate doesn't mean it's going to be standard play. Doesn't mean it's going to be Oracles, could be leading into Void Race instead. MaNa has options. Does have options here. We'll see what he goes for. As he is going to be making those adepts. Personally, I would love to see another Void Ray opener. I would love to see a Void Ray into a very different build. It's just a really good way to play with a series and to, you know, keep your opponent guessing, because the Void Ray opener would look like the same build as game one, and then bam, you whip out something completely different instead. We'll see. There it is, Void Ray first. Again, I'm quite fond of it. I doubt this is going to be a Void Ray into a fast Forge and Twilight Council into +1 and charge again. As I mentioned, I think it's best to mix up your builds off of a Void Ray opener and go for something different. And we can go for anything. Again, Sky Toss, Glaive Adepts. We go for a charge-based all-in even without the Forge. We shall see. Even Phoenixes. Even Mass Phoenixes. But now E was just saturating his bases, getting into his third base. The Void Ray is soon to be upon us, soon to shut down that Overlord. And really our eyes are on MaNa to see what he goes for. Going straight for a faster third. There it is. There's that Forge. There's that Twilight Council. What I will say is that this looks like the same build. So far, at least it does. Also quite bold to go for the third as quickly as he did. But is going to get up and running. Eba is going to be supply blocked. Ooh, for a couple of seconds. Yeah, for quite some time. We'll eventually break out. There we go. 3 Overlords on the way. But based on how fast the Forge is alongside the Twilight Council, I'm feeling +1 in charge again. Now, if you remember, this led into a 3-base 6-gate charge timing, which was unable to do too much damage because of how safely Eba was playing. And there it is. We have 3 more gates on the way. It's going to be 4 in total so far, with charge, with +1. And we should be throwing down 2 additional gateways. And speaking of, there they are. So 6 gates in total, same build as game 1. Now, Eba, once again, is going for an earlier Roach Warren. This was around a 4-minute 30, 4-minute 20 Roach Warren timing. It has to be early just because Eba doesn't know what it is. It could be Glaive Adepts for all he knows, so we have to play safe. +1 melees on the way. We will be making a couple of Roaches. And just like the last game, we shouldn't take too much damage, but the Oracle goes ham. Oh my god, we get 4 drones! We get 4 drones in the main. A pretty decent amount of damage dealt here. Again, Eba behind this is going to be stuck re-droning instead of making Roaches. I'm concerned. We can drone for now, that's fine, but hopefully we're not too greedy. There we go. There's a couple of Roaches are in production. And Zealots are going to be amassing. Here we go. Zealots are moving out. Again, charge and +1. They're finishing up in a couple of seconds. By the time they do, these Zealots will be across the map. So a very crisp timing here from MaNa. Lings move out. Lings, they scout. They get eyes on the Zealots. Big scout here by Eba. Eba, he knows, and he is making roaches. Thankfully, not supply blocked. The Zealots have arrived. Oh, the 4th base is under fire. And the 4th base, it's going to be cancelled. Yeah, the roaches, they get here a little bit too late. Lings as well. We deny the 4th. So this timing has already done well for ourselves. Oh, Eba in the midst of droning. Yeah, we collapse on the roaches. Zealots, they trade with roaches. Good trades here for MaNa. Nice hold position, Micah, with those drones. Queens as well, adding some support. So far, 3 roaches went down. 3 roaches and a denied 4th. Pretty good. Pretty good, to be honest. As more Zealots, they get into the natural. They get another 3 drones. So overall, a pretty successful attack. Yes, MaNa didn't kill his opponent, but he only spent 7 Zealots. 7 Zealots to get some gas trades to deny the bases. Getting our own 4th up and running on par with the 4th of Eba, which should not be happening. So MaNa is in a good position. Behind this, we're rushing towards Blink and +2. Now, we did mention that this +1 Zealot timing, Zealot charge timing, leads into +2 on Blink. Leads into +2 on Blink, and this did achieve quite a lot. This did kill and put MaNa in a really good position in Game 1. We'll see if he's as successful here in Game 2. Stalkers are amassing. Zealot drop is sent towards the main. Lings are denied here towards the south. So are denied, yeah. Big warping into the main base. 6 Zealots at a time. We have a 7th and an 8th gateway on the way. We collapse on the Queen, and we will bring it down. The Queen does fall. More Zealots coming in towards the south, and Eba. His Lings at least are out of position. Do we have roaches? We do, but they're being distracted. They're stuck in between the bases. And Zealots, they kill the main. No shot. They're going to kill the main base. And we get a kill on the 4th as well. Eba getting pulled apart. The Ling run by gets cleaned up. MaNa all over him with these charge lots. And we don't even have +2 yet. +2 is still about to finish up alongside Blink. Now it is done, and now we can start working towards Stalkers. Again, MaNa did lose a handful of pros, but it was only a handful. That pales in comparison to what Eba just lost. And 2 hatcheries. The lair has to be oh god. The lair has to be rebuilt. Not like this. Another hatchery on the way. We're rebuilding that 4th. And MaNa is in control. We do have +3 on the horizon. Prism is meeting up with the main army, I believe. No, sorry, Prism still going in for a counterattack. Now, Eba does have quite a large army. He has quite a large force. Rolling on in. Zealots, they get across the map, though. Bailings, they get into the mineral line. No reaction. Oh, the Blink. Very close Blink there. Clutch Blink out of MaNa. He does defend his mineral line. Again, it takes, what, like 11 Bailings to kill a Stalker? The Stalkers, they stood strong. They deny the Bailings. Likewise, Zealots across the map did distract the reinforcements, and MaNa holds. Bleeds out 5 probes, but MaNa still has a worker lead. Big wave of reinforcements on the way. There it is, just really rounding out this army. Eba across the map, doing what he can to just hold his own, to keep his head above water. He's pretty all in. I mean, he is re-establishing these bases, and he's running up to 74, that is true. But tech-wise, Eba's quite far behind. He's stuck with Lingbane Roach Ravager, stuck with, again, a Lair Tech army. As MaNa is looking to outscale him. Okay, we've got Archons, Immortals, soon to be +3. Storm is on the horizon as well. Oh, that's going to be a big one. Storm is on the way. As Eba going to be pulling back. Zelramai does distract him. Eba, he's racing back home. Zealots are going to be cleaned up. A nice split here out of MaNa. They're just trading as efficiently as possible. Stalkers, they push on forward towards the 5th. Trading with Lings. Blinking over the wall, not losing anything. Now, Eba has been able to drone up to 80, so his economy is now looking good. We have an infestation bit on the way. This is going to be for Hive Tech, so you can see that Eba, he is slowly working on that next step, working towards that Hive. Spire has been thrown down. Can Eba catch up, and can he stabilize? I mean, I'm still concerned about this Storm timing. Storm is now done. Baneling Runby does not get in. Do we have High Templar? We do. 4 High Templar here for MaNa, and we're pushing. All 4 in that Prism. We're moving out. Oh boy. Or at least we should be. Yeah, MaNa, he is maxed. And if Eba can somehow survive this push, then maybe we can stabilize in a way. And we can like keep up with MaNa. We can have more of a back and forth. But now though, Eba in a bit of trouble. He is maxing out with Lingbane Roach Ravager. It's going to come down to the engage. It's going to come down to Lingbane. If he can somehow avoid the storms. Oh god! If he can avoid them, but a big storm on the army, and we're chasing the Banelings! We chase them down! Half of them get picked off by the High Templar, by the storm, and we have plenty more. There we go, once again on the Banelings. But we still have a good chunk left. We collapse on the army. Oh, MaNa losing his immortals there. At the same time, takes down the hatchery, going for the natural. This is the Hive, by the way. We can't afford to lose it. We shouldn't lose it as we get the queens. Get into the mineral line. Zealot's pushing forward. There are still Banelings left over. MaNa feel like overextending a little bit here. The Zealots are going to be going down. We collapse on the Stalkers. Eba, he takes a fight, and he does take a massive supply lead. Eba, now is the time to go. You see a big wave of Warpins back at home. Zealots and High Templar, but there's no Storm. There's no Storm left over. Eba, he crashes on forward, takes down the Zealots. Banelings, they don't quite get in. Overcharge is pop. Shield battery goes down. And Eba, now is his time. He has to break MaNa here and now. Takes down some Stalkers. We have a Warpin, but it gets denied. Big moment there for Eba. There are some Storms left over. Ooh, as MaNa barely holds on. MaNa, he holds, and now I'm a little bit more concerned for Eba. Like, this was his moment. Eba had to end the game here and now, and he almost did it. He almost broke the base, but he didn't. And MaNa, he's still on 85 probes. He's re-maxing. He's resaturating. Eba is now working towards Ultras. They don't have the best upgrades. There's no Carapace upgrades. We have Cadence Plating still on the way. But Eba, he can re-max. MaNa, that's Sky Toss. +1 air attack. Sky Toss on the horizon. But it's a ways away. There's no Fleet Beacon. No Fleet Beacon for MaNa. Eba going for a Ling Run-By. Storm Drop coming in. Good reaction. We lose 2 drones. Only 2 workers to the storms. Ling Run-By is deflected. We have another storm. Again, once again, Eba, he does preemptively react there. Does pull away. Greater Spire on the way. Oh, it gets cancelled. We fake out the Greater Spire. Interesting move there at Eba. Feeding MaNa some false information. MaNa, he still has a supply lead. He's remaxing already. He is remaxing. Getting run by rolling in. Headed towards the bases, but yeah, MaNa's in position. Once again, the Baneling, like we've seen like 5 or 6 attempted Baneling run-bys and they haven't done much. Ultras are revealed. Again, with these Ultras, Eba can take a fight, especially on creep. That's the thing, like pushing into these bases is difficult, but if MaNa pushes onto creep, then Eba can solo him up, potentially. Yeah, we're waiting for these upgrades to kick in. Eba going for a Roach counterattack. Does spot the army. Catches the High Templar. Banelings roll in. Oh, they get in! Finally! They do get in, and oh, we get 8 probe kills. We get something. At the same time, a big Zealot counterattack. We get on top of the hatchery. And the hatchery is going to be targeted. It goes down. Big pick off there by MaNa. Takes down the base. At the same time, almost loses his own. But again, we're just still keeping the base count of Eba low. Still only on 4 bases. His 5th has been denied over and over again. This base died earlier. This base just got picked up. Eva with inefficient mining. Eva is being forced back. And now again, MaNa, he's got a terrifying army. Look at, he's got what, 8 immortals, 9 archons. Like, this is a death bull of an army, if I've ever seen one. This army can struggle against something like Broodlords or a heavy lurker army, but against ultras, man, MaNa, he's got the ideal. Outside of Skytos. Good feedbacks on the Vipers. The ultras are getting caught out. Yeah, we do catch out the ultras. 1 ultra goes down, we get a 2nd. We should get a 3rd and a 4th. The ultras, they melt. They melt again against this many archons and immortals. At the same time, a big Ling counterattack. We get Lings at the natural, Lings at the 5th base. Sorry, at the 6th base, 22 probes go down. But MaNa's going for a massive push, and I don't think Eva can stop this. It's a death bull of an army, and I don't think it can be stopped. We take down the hatchery. We take down the center base. MaNa could keep pushing, but we're turning back around for a moment. We're cleaning up those Lings. Rotating around instead. Playing it safe. Gets the center base, and I feel like we're rotating towards the north to take down, yeah, the northern hatchery. Another run back here by Eva. Getting some probes. Now, the economy of MaNa is no longer looking amazing. He's down to 50 workers, but the army. This army is insane. He has a super maxed army, 143 army supply. We're rolling on forward. The drones are getting caught out. And Eva, he just cannot keep up with this. It's a brick wall of Protoss. The lightning clouds are thrown down, but it doesn't even matter. We take down a base, and we're not stopping. MaNa now going in for the kill, going in for the throw. GG gets called, and MaNa will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. MaNa will take it. Eva having a really rough time in this matchup, or in this series against MaNa. He was able to have his moments here in this game, that is true, but MaNa was popping off with the Zealot run-bys, with the Zealot counterattacks, just picking Eva apart, setting himself up so well leading into the mid-game. Eva was able to take some good fights, that is true, but the economy of Eva was always suffering, the production and the base count, and again, the economy of Eva was always 1 or 2 steps behind that of MaNa. But towards the end of the game, Eva was finally dealing some economic damage and was finally getting himself in a decent economic position, but at that point it was too late. At that point, MaNa had outscaled Eva, snowballed out of control. GG. GG, well played. MaNa takes it 2-0, advances on to the next round. GG, congratulations. And with that, let's head on over to the bracket and figure out where exactly we are and where we are headed.